surprised me earlier by saying you're a fan of the UFC fighter Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's amazing. He's amazing. His movement's amazing. Yeah.
Why are you attracted to that, to him, to fighting?
It was his movement. Someone, I think, sent me a link to him about 3 years ago. I think it might have been someone from Cabaret, actually, Charlotte, who's a movement person. And I was just astonished by the way this man moved. It's like, bloody hell. He's like silk. You can't... Anyway, so it was through that, and then I got into him as a fighter. And then I started doing Muay Thai kickboxing. Yeah, and so I went to Thailand for the last 2 years, yeah. And it's brilliant.
And you kick pads and go all out.
Yeah, I don't spar. I did one spar with my brother and he punched me and I didn't like it.
It's not nice.
So I was like, I don't want to do that. I don't need to do that.
You don't need to do that.
No.
There's plenty to do with Thai boxing without getting punched in the face. There's like lots of technique. It's a great art. It's, you know,
it's just like, it's
beautiful.
made me feel so centered. And I think there's something beautiful about watching any sports person that is great in their field, and that kind of motion of martial arts, mixed martial arts. You know, I know some people can be a bit sort of anti it if they're like true, you know, into their like one kind of technique and all that. But I just think watching someone like Conor McGregor, watching that movement is astonishing. And how athletic he is. You know, I mean, he just looks incredible. And I just think it's beautiful. It's like watching a ballet dancer, except he's kicking the shit out of someone.
Yeah. You know, when I see Conor, sometimes I see a man with, you know, so much pressure on him as well. Now, he put this pressure on himself. He welcomed it. He is the champion, or one of, you know, many great champions. But I mean, you know, so he lost a fight. He's still the man.
Yeah.
But I see sometimes that it's almost, you know, it's hardening him as a person. And you've been there before. You've been where you've been at the very top and launched very fast into being a celebrity. And I'm wondering, when you look at Conor, is part of you thinking, everything's going to be okay, brother? I know how you feel. You probably see different things in him than I see.
Oh, that's interesting. I do look at people and I'm interested in their passage of from the beginning to then how you're going to cope with all that stuff. And I suppose having got through the other side, you know, and really with some bloody good people still by my side, I didn't do it on my own. I am interested by how people, whether they manage it or not, manage to see the madness of it all. It definitely can harden you. I remember my brother actually saying to me, "You've become really tough," and that was really upsetting. Quite soon after Pop Idol, he said, "You've become really tough."
Yeah.
And I didn't, and I hadn't, and he was really upset. So yeah, I think it probably can harden people, but I like seeing it. I don't know if I've thought that with him. I mean, I do like, I like seeing him become more and more successful.
Me too. It's always interesting to see how a fighter like that deals with a loss, you know, or even a singer or a celebrity deals with something bad in their lives. And it tells you a lot about them, how they come back.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm sure you look for that, or at least you notice it.
Well, if I think of that, I suppose I think, you know, I think it probably is genuinely harder for fighters because there is like win or lose. In my business, I don't really see it so much like that. I'd like to eradicate the word failure from the English language. I think it's like a non-entity of a word. I don't really know what failure is, you know? That's failed. Why? How's it failed? I mean, well, it either did that or it did that. It's like not a failure. So, but I guess in fighting it is actually very different. You have literally won or lost.
So you're saying with a failure, usually we try to judge ourselves, and
failing is a judge, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're a failure. I mean, that's a judgment. It's not. It's an assessment of an action or of something that's happened. I don't, you know, I don't see why it's there. It denotes something negative.
Right. Whereas it's really a learning experience. It's feedback.
It's just something, isn't it? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It can be used as feedback.